I wanted to ask you, have you reached the point where when you look at what Chris Lykes has now been through over the past few months, and I know he's been trying to come back and you've had setbacks back and forth and that kind of thing. Have you just about reached the point where you would say, let's just call it a wrap for this year. Let's get you 100% healthy and let's, look towards the future. And then I know as a follow to that, I know you've also been asked in recent weeks about players coming back and things like that. I would think that with the transfer market being what it's likely to be in the coming weeks, what type of pace do you expect that to be under, and how much of an urgency is there now that the season's nearing its close for you to sit down with all of your players and come to a final decision on who actually is going to come back?
Yeah, that's a mouthful right there.
Sorry.
Okay, so here's where we are. I talk to Chris Lykes regularly. I won't say every single day because I hate to just keep asking him the same question. But in recent conversations, we've talked about him just resting for the remainder of the year. And then we've also talked about what his options are for the future. And the three possibilities every player will have, not just Chris, but every player, whether you turn pro, that's always an option for players, whether you remain at the school you're at because the NCAA has made it clear that everybody gets a pass on this year and you can come back and freshmen will still be freshmen, sophomores all next season. Or because the transfer portal has made it very, very easy for kids to transfer. And there's going to be a major market. We'll be looking in the transfer portal, and so will every other Division I school. And every player will probably, revisit with their families as to what the best option is for them. I've had those conversations with Chris Lykes. My staff has had conversations with my other seniors, and I don't think it's time yet for anybody to make a decision. Sometime probably in April, you'll see a lot of names in the portal. I'm not saying our players, I'm just saying, nationally. One of the things I'm very proud of is we haven't really lost a lot of guys to transfers. Last year, there were 80 Power 5 teams, and only 7 schools did not have a single guy transfer. And we were one of those 7 schools. We had everybody coming back, and, I was very optimistic about coming into this season. And then we first lost Sam Wardenberg, and then we had the issue with Earl Timberlake, and he wasn't able to start the season, and then he had to bow out, and he's not going to be able to play the rest of the year. And Chris Lykes got hurt in the second game, and then Rodney Miller got hurt and is out for the year. So we basically have played with 4 of our top 5 or 6 guys not playing this year. So there's going to be a lot of guys that have to revisit, what am I going to do for my future? Am I going pro? Am I going to return next year and play at Miami? Should I put my name in the portal? So I don't think anything's been decided yet.
What kind of urgency is there for you? Obviously, you want to get this thing back on track very, very, very quickly, and you need to know what you're looking for and not looking for and that sort of thing. What kind of urgency is there for you to reach a decision point? Can you wait till April?
Well, I think once our season is over, if guys, every year I talk to every one of my players after the season is over. And I remember visiting with Lonnie Walker at my house. We had lunch together, and I asked him what his thoughts were. And he said, well, I love it here. I'd love to return. I love my teammates, but I also have the option of going pro, and we're going to, consider that very strongly. And within a couple of days, he made the announcement that he was going pro. Bruce Brown, on the other hand, after his freshman year, we did the same thing, and he announced that he was coming back. Shane Larkin, on the other hand, when we told him he was going to have a possibility of turning pro and being a first-round draft choice, he was actually surprised by that because he had never given any consideration to leaving after his sophomore year. But once his sophomore year finished and we started to sit down and talk to NBA teams, and they said he's likely to be a first-round draft choice, then he talked to his mom and dad and decided to go. So I think every individual has to do what is best for him, whether it's return or leave to either go pro or go to another school. And I've always believed that.
We'll go now to Chris Stock from Inside the U. Chris.
Yeah, Coach, I was curious about your thoughts on the season Isaiah Wong has had. Not just the scoring numbers, but he's played in every game, playing high minutes. Just maybe your evaluation of him and the season he's had for you guys.
Well, if you ask me, he's the most improved player in the league and an all-conference player, whether it's first team, second team, what have you. You know, he's not only scoring the ball, he's defending, he's assisting, he's rebounding. He plays a tremendous number of minutes, and he's a great kid. I mean, he deserves the recognition he's getting right now, and he keeps improving in every aspect of his game. So he's had a sensational sophomore year.
Up next, we have Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. Michelle.
Okay. Hey, Coach, following up then on Chris, you said you've had conversations with him about resting the rest of the year. So, I mean, is he ruled out then for the game tomorrow and the rest of the season, or what is his status? And especially I wanted to ask you also going up against Jose Alvarado, you know, a tough guy to play against, you know, just what is Chris's status for tomorrow's game?
Yeah, Chris will not play tomorrow. He has not practiced this week. The foot injury, the ankle area has, every time he practices, the next day it's aggravated and he doesn't feel like he can be himself. He's in a little bit of pain. And I've told him, look, you can't play with pain. You know, you can play with discomfort, but if every time you change direction, it hurts, then you can't really go. And because his game is speed, quickness, change speeds, change directions, you know, he can't play like Chris Lykes. So he hasn't practiced this week. I'd say it's unlikely that he'll play this year again, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. I think once the pain goes away, he's going to want to get back out there. But right now, he still has some pain in that ankle area.
And it's just a sprain. I mean, it seems it's a long time for a sprain. Is it something beyond a sprain, or is just a sprain, a very severe sprain?
No, Michelle, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a trainer, a physical therapist. I'm as surprised as anybody. When we played at Boston College, we had Louisville coming up on Saturday. I thought he was going to play in the Louisville game. You know, we were in Boston and he was warming up, and then he was doing some conditioning with our trainer. And the next day he didn't feel good and we had to shut him down again. And last week, who do we play? We're at Notre Dame. I called him one night. We were discussing it. And I said, Chris, if you're ready to go for Sunday against Notre Dame, we're going to move you into the start lineup because we're so short-handed. And he said, yeah, I think I'm going to be ready. But he practiced. And the next day, the foot was bothering him. Well, actually, going for the Notre Dame, he started limping during practice, and I had to shut him down. So the ankle obviously has not healed the way we had hoped or expected. But, you know, the circumstances continue to be an ongoing saga where, hey, if you're healthy and you feel good, you're going to play. If you're not healthy and you're still in pain, you're not going to play. And right now, he hasn't even practiced this week.
Up next, we have David Froner from the Sun Sentinel. David.
Hey, Jim. Blake James essentially gave you his vote of confidence this week, understanding the many challenges this season has presented. What has that meant for you in knowing you're not necessarily under added pressure due to what has really become an unfortunate series of injuries this season?
Yeah, I'm not going to discuss something like that. I don't even like the term of vote of confidence. You know, here's the way I look at my coaching career, and it's been this way since I started. I love coaching. I love doing what I'm doing. And if the people here are happy with me, I'm going to continue to coach. But that was true wherever I've been. And I've told athletic directors who I've worked for, the moment you don't feel like I'm the right guy for the job, well, just tell me. I'm okay with that.